What if you found out right now, today, that your town had been at war with another country for the last 335 years, and absolutely nobody knew? Stay with me, because what happened on April 17th, 1986 is the funniest and most human moment in the entire history of warfare. Picture this: 5 tiny islands off the southwestern tip of England, the Isles of Scilly. Total population, about 2,000 people. Their biggest industries? Fishing, flowers, tourism. Not exactly a global military superpower. And yet, for 335 years, the mighty Kingdom of the Netherlands was technically, legally, officially at war with them. 0 battles, 0 shots fired, 0 casualties. Not a single harsh word was exchanged across the English Channel. Because nobody remembered. To understand how this happened, we have to go back to 1651. England is in the middle of a civil war, Oliver Cromwell's parliamentarians against the king's royalists. The Dutch are allied with the parliamentarians, and the royalist navy, desperate and cornered, has retreated to their last refuge, the Isles of Scilly. The royalist ships are raiding Dutch merchant vessels in the English Channel. The Dutch are furious. They sent a fleet of 12 warships and their admiral, Martin Tromp, to demand compensation. The royalists say, essentially, no thank you. So Tromp, reportedly under orders, declares war, specifically on the Isles of Scilly, not England, just those little islands. Then, 3 months later, Cromwell's forces arrive, and the royalist fleet surrenders. The Dutch Navy packs up, sails home, and completely forgets to declare peace. 335 years pass. Generations are born, generations die. 2 world wars come and go. Man walks on the moon. And somewhere in a filing cabinet in the Netherlands, a forgotten document quietly gathers dust. Then, in 1985, a local Scilly historian and council chairman named Roy Duncan stumbled across the old legend. He thinks it must be nonsense, so he writes a letter to the Dutch embassy in London, half expecting them to laugh it off. A clerk is sent to search the embassy archives, and to everyone's surprise, the documents confirm it. No peace treaty had ever been signed. So Roy Duncan does the only reasonable thing a man can do in this situation. He invites the Dutch ambassador to visit the islands. On April 17, 1986, Ambassador Heidekoper arrived on the Isles of Scilly. Peace is formally declared, 335 years after the war began. And then the ambassador says something that brings the house down. He jokes that it must have been awful for the Scillonians to know that the Dutch could have attacked at any moment. The signed peace treaty now hangs proudly in the council chambers on St. Mary's Island, the trophy of a war that lasted 3.5 centuries and harmed absolutely no one. Even Duncan admitted that the issue had been a joke for many years, and yet somehow that joke became one of the most charming footnotes in all of human history. Now here's what I love most about this story. It isn't really about war at all. It's about 2 groups of people who chose, without even trying, to simply live their lives. To fish, and grow flowers, and let the past be the past, and then one curious man with a pen and a letter changed everything. Not with armies, not with arguments, just with the courage to ask a question that everyone else thought was too silly to bother with. That makes me think about the stories in your own family, the ones that feel too small, or too funny, or too ordinary to write down, the ones only you know. Because here's the truth. Every family has a 335-year story hiding in a drawer somewhere. A moment that seems forgettable, until someone decides it isn't. What if you were the one who finally picked up that pen? What if you were the one who preserved the stories that only you can tell, for your children, your grandchildren, for the people who will one day want to know who you were and where they came from? Those stories are irreplaceable, and they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be written. I'm putting together a free guide, available only to History Sparks subscribers, that will walk you right through how to capture your own family stories. How to start, what to ask, how to turn ordinary memories into something your family will treasure forever. If you want that guide, drop the word peace in the comments below, and tell me you're in. If enough of you raise your hand, I'll make it happen. And it won't cost you a single thing. If this story made you smile, and maybe even think, go ahead and hit that like button right now, and share it with someone who loves a great piece of history. And if the History Sparks community isn't part of your day yet, hit subscribe and ring that bell. Every single day, we bring you a moment from the past that reminds you of the very best of what it means to be human. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.